At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday. Let's get this microphone all set up. We're going to make this show, I swear, we got to keep it under 30 minutes. I've got a Zoom call to go be a part of. Sam Pittman will be talking with the media here shortly. So we need to knock this thing out as quickly as humanly possible. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yo, hope you guys had a great week. A little bit to discuss. Arkansas may have found their guy. I was outside. Our Ozarks Go guy was outside messing with our meter. There we go. Put the beanie back on. All right. So I had to go outside and, of course, help him. It was freezing cold. It's 28 degrees last I saw. It's a little too cold. All right, if you guys have any questions or comments, fire away in the chat. Again, we're going to try and keep this thing. I want to log out of this by about 11:50 if I can help it. So, again, if you have any questions or comments, fire away now. Speak now or forever hold your tongue. That's how we'll put it here. We're going to get into Arkansas and Kansas starting getting into next week. It's going to be a pretty eventful week. We know the early signing period is on the 21st. That starts, I think that goes until, it's usually 4 or 5 days. We'll see. We'll see what happens there, what Arkansas can do. Great to see you, Ty. Hey, John, thanks for being here, man. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I don't know why. That helmet, it's always blocked. It's just in such a bad spot, and I hate that because that chrome helmet looks so good. You get over here. Maybe people can see you here. Huh? Is that better? There we go. There you go. You can see the studio lighting in its reflection. Do as Matt says. What does Matt say? Who's Matt? Matt. Okay. Or join the Discord for those of y'all watching this later. There's also that too. Yeah, join the Discord. Moves shelf a few. I moved the helmet. See, and my face, the way I used to have this set up for you old school people who've been around for a minute, you used to see like a lot more, and it wasn't just my face right here. It was like I was like way back here, and there was way more wall. Hey, shout out to Apex Tattoo Studio, the show's sponsor, one of the 2 sponsors at the moment. We got a big announcement here in just a second. But Apex Tattoo Studio, hey, if you guys want to get inked up, you know what to do. We've got screenshots of some ink work in our Discord. If you look on the left side of the screen, they've got their address and their phone number. The Apex Tattoo Studio, located 615 West Oak Street, Rogers, Arkansas, 72756. Give them a call today. Get set up, 479-278-2694. And, of course, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company as well. You guys know, hundreds of 5-star reviews. Better than best results. Give them a call, 501-244-3667. All right, really quick, we're going to start off with the announcement. I told you guys at the end of Hogville yesterday, and in our live chat, or not live chat, sorry, in our well, we did do a live chat yesterday, didn't we? We were kind of messing around in Discord live, but I also put it out there in main chat. We have a new sponsor starting in January. The one, the only, the Odd Soul bar / delicious pizza joint located on Emma Street. They are now a sponsor our third sponsor. That'll be our fourth different sponsor we've had on this show. But they are sponsor numero 30. Excited to have Nick and his staff. Like we're now one. We are joined. We are joined as of January. So really excited about that. We have some more news. I mean, it doesn't end there. Next week we'll have an announcement, and just stay tuned for that. That's not related to sponsors. It's something about the show. A lot of stuff coming up. We were planning on getting the studio up and rocking and rolling, turning our garage into a studio room. That keeps getting pushed back, unfortunately. Logan Ray says, y'all go like and subscribe. Woo pig. That's right. Arkansas makes its tight end hire. Let's start there. Let's get in on the tight end hire. I saw another message board that the Maryland media is pretty sure he isn't leaving, says Elvin. Oh, we'll get into that. We have no idea. Notice there's a question mark. There's a question mark, Elvin, in the we don't know if he is or not. But if he is, we're going to talk about what he did. So let's talk about this tight end coach really quick. Again, we talked about this on Hogville, Otis Kirk and I. Pretty interesting hire for good reasons. Morgan Turner out of Stanford. He's been there for like a hot minute. He's been there for a while. I think 2009 was when he was hired in at Stanford. Listen to these names he's responsible for. Caden Smith, he was a 6th-round draft pick. 6 starts, 2019. Caden Smith. I don't really remember him, if I'm being honest. But I do recall Dalton Schultz, who was a 4th-round pick. And I'm telling you something, if you get tight ends that are picked 4th round and up, that's pretty good. If you can get, well, he's got more than just one. Dalton Schultz was 2018, 4th round pick. Levine, I cannot pronounce this cat's last name. Toyolo. 2013, 4th round pick. Austin Hooper, that's a name you should recognize. I'm sure I've had him on a few fantasy football rosters as a tight end number 2 option if I was looking for a tight end number 2. Waller has been quite the disappointment for me lately. But and then the guy that everyone knows, Zach Ertz, 2013 2nd round pick. Zach Ertz. One of the things that people talk about with Loggins is how the hell are you going to hang on? How are you going to hang on to all these 4 stars? This man, Morgan Turner, shows up to Fayetteville. Hell, I don't even know if he stepped foot on campus yet. He went right onto the recruiting trail. He already went and visited, I guess, all three of the Razorback commitments. And that's a tall order, man. That's a tall order to keep. I mean, think about it. He comes in at a position that hasn't produced a ton. Let's think about that for just a second. Trey Knox had how many catches? Like 20 or something? Didn't really produce at the level we thought he would. And then, so not only is there that, right? It's not a super prominent position in this offense, or at least it really hasn't been. Of course, you've had some talent issues, and Trey Knox, who moved over from wide receiver to tight end. But so you're coming into that. You have nobody behind Knox. Knox, your best tight end who has another year of eligibility, is in the portal, but this man took the job anyways. And, oh, by the way, you better hang on to these 3 4-star commits, which, by the way, even if he loses one, I don't put that on his shoulders. That's hard for me to put that on the new guy's shoulders. I mean, Haas literally just had an in-home visit with Nick Saban. And you heard Otis Kirk say that he was a flight risk yesterday on Hogville. I'm going to be honest with you. That kind of surprised me, even after knowing about the Nick Saban stuff, because I thought that he was sold on Sam Pittman. Well, and I'd kind of heard this before, but Luke Haas was actually sold on the idea of the experience that Loggins had of getting guys to the pros, and, well, not getting them to the pros, but being a part of the pros, being a part of the NFL. That was a big attraction for him. This guy's not coming in with that. This guy's coming in with the opposite side of things. He's coming in as a guy who's developed tight ends. Great production from some tight ends, by the way, in this offense. 2019, not 2020, 2021, and 22, they had some really good production out of their tight ends. But he's known as developing guys and turning them into pros. So Hogs is going to have – so that's something we all need to consider and understand. And for fans who keep up with recruiting and you ask, well, why did this kid out of Bixby, who we thought was such a solid, hard commit to Arkansas, was he that attached to Loggins and the idea that this guy's had experience in the pros and that's just what it is? Yeah, it could be. So I still don't know if Luke Hogs is a flight risk or not. I think anytime a coach leaves an in-home visit or a new coach, it doesn't matter. It's rare for a player to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm out. Nah. So you can ask a media member, and they're going to tell you what the kid says, but what really happens beyond that is up to that kid. What do they always say what they mean? No, of course they don't. And I'm not saying Luke is dishonest by any stretch of the imagination. I've heard nothing but good things about Luke. I've heard nothing but great things about the young man out of Bixby, Oklahoma. Really happy to have him, and I hope he stays committed. He's had a lot of pressure from other schools. There's no doubt. I'm not going to say he's the most valuable prospect, but he's got to be in that conversation. I look at, Jalen Braxton, we don't talk enough about. Micah Teese, we don't talk enough about. Micah Teese is a flight risk, by the way. But so you're asking this new tight end coach, hey, not only are you coming into a place where tight ends aren't getting great production, right? Because Kendall has, we've talked about this before, Kendall does use the hell out of the tight ends in one fashion or another in his offense. So there is that side of it. But in terms of actual receiving yards and receptions and touchdowns, we're not getting that so far. So that's something worth thinking about for him, because what's a better reflection of a coach than seeing his group of guys go out there and get a lot of production? Well, that's a great reflection upon that positions coach. When their guy or their guys, their group, have some form of an impact. There's always blocking. We get it. Tight ends block. His tight ends being at Stanford, I'm assuming they had to learn how to block too, right? And they got to do the same thing in this offense, even if it's slightly different. Yeah, I think this is a great hire. Definitely a little bit of pushback from some people. We had Kopesky, who yesterday, he's in our live chat right now, or at least he was. He was a little skeptical, but then I guess he did a little bit of homework. He said, all right, no, I'm actually impressed. So there you go. This guy's silencing already some of his critics. Good hire. Hang on to 2 out of 3. I think that'd be successful. If you hang on to all 3, holy shit. All right, we're talking for real now. You got Ham and Shamar Easter. When I had talked to Otis at around, I want to say fall camp, when he and I were talking and going to practices and whatnot, he thought Jaden Ham was a flight risk, and I guess that's changed. I don't know. I don't know if much has changed. Jaden Ham, 6'7", 235, out of Eudora, Kansas. 3-star overall, but 247. He's a 4-star. He's a composite 3-star. And then of course you have Shamar Easter out of Ashdown, Arkansas. So, yeah, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Bring back tight end U, man. It was something, right? You had DJ Williams. I'm gonna get them all out of order, I think. DJ Williams, Chris Gregg. Eventually, you'd have, of course, Hunter Henry, Jeremy Sprinkle. I really think Knox, had he come back another year, you could put him in those listed names of great tight ends here. And I know people want to do that. I don't know that his production really matches that of a great tight end, of one of those like guys that were up for the Mackey, right? He never was. What did the move actually benefit him? That's a good question. Did it really benefit him? I think that it got him on the field. He started, when he was a wide receiver. He fell down the depth chart a little bit, right? I'm here, Ty. What's up, Tony Brown? How you doing, my man? KJ and Rocket going off next year, says Bob Magnet. I hope you're right. I'm still with you, Ty. Good hire. Okay, but Hog football needs more miracles on defense. Well, but we've been saying that, Michael, for years. You've really only had one really great defensive year, and that was back in the first couple of years under Brett Bielema. Was it year 2, year 3? When that defense, Rob Smith, and that defense was incredible. William Phillips says, talk forever, Ty, stun the like. That's right. We've got a lot of people in here. Let's get the like button. Let's click it, huh? Go Razorbacks. Go Razorbacks. I think tight end coaches, I think that tight end coach has a good chance of keeping those guys locked up. I think the thing that that players have to enjoy or respect is the fact that I'm not even sure he stepped foot on campus. He got off the plane and it feels like he showed up and was talking with these prospects, right? Oh, I forget about Derby. Yeah, Derby was good. Derby was solid. Had a small NFL career, with the Patriots or whatever. Ramon Shiesty, Woo Pig Tie. By the way, did you guys see the new intro screen? I thought I would honor – there's the new intro screen. I thought I would honor the people that are going a little bit above and beyond. I do appreciate all Patreon supporters. But I gave you guys the $8 and up supporters. I was thinking of a fancy name, like the 8 and up crowd or something, or $8 and up crowd, or the 8 and up Tusk Talk crowd. I don't know. But we got a couple there. Andrew Gerard, Timothy Wiesent. Really do appreciate. I appreciate all Patreon supporters, of course, but wanted to give a little extra sauce to Andrew and Timothy for being in the 8 and up crowd. $8 and up crowd. That sounds a little more fitting. I do appreciate that. I absolutely think Turner is an upgrade. It's hard to say right now. I think it's a little early to say. Like, you know how this works out. If he kills it on the recruiting trail and he keeps these guys, and then if there's no productivity on the field, then we're kind of going, well, and you're going to look back on the numbers and you go, well, but the tight ends didn't do much, right? Going back and see, look at that. We're getting a little bit. 2022 production. Benjamin Urisic had 49 catches, 445 yards with a touchdown. 2022. 2021, Benjamin Urisic had 42 catches, 653 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2019, they didn't have very good production. 2020, 2019, Colby Parkinson, if I was looking at this right, had 48 catches, 589 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah. Has yet to produce anything higher than a second rounder in what he did with Zach Ertz, who was a second-round draft pick in 2013, but that's still awesome. All right, Brian Williams, defensive coordinator, is it happening? There was a lot of smoke. We know there's been some plane tracking. Here's something I think we all need to understand and consider. Is he a great recruiter? Yes. He had a 5-star, I think last year maybe, year before last. He had a 5-star who ended up transferring down to University of Central Florida and then who left UCF, and I think he's back in the portal. In his 1 year, he was a defensive line coach for Maryland in 2019 and 2020, and then he was co-defensive coordinator in 2021. He's from Miami, and the expectations are that this cat can just absolutely recruit. He did a great job as a defensive line coach. Let's go over their numbers really quick. Total defense in his first year, yards per game, they gave up 362 yards per game. Any guesses where Arkansas was at? It was way worse. These guys ranked 51st here. 51st in total yards per game. They gave up 4,346. They gave up that was total yardage, 5 yards per play. Third down defense, it gets a little bad. Gets kind of really bad, actually. 82nd in the country in third down defense. It means teams are converting just around 40% of the time on third down. That's not very good. Red zone defense, respectable. Somewhere floating around the top 50. Teams were scoring at about 80, 81%. Listen, that's going to happen, right? A lot of field goals, 13 field goals, 11 rushing touchdowns, 14 passing touchdowns. 38 times teams scored versus 47 attempts. That's not bad. It's vanilla. It's okay. Overall scoring defense, this is something Arkansas has to appreciate a little bit. He ranked again in the top 50 at about 48th, 24 points per game given up. In this day and age, I'm really if you told me, look, he's given up just south of 25 points a game, I would expect, oh, well, then that's got to be top 25 in the country. It's not. It's 48th. I still think that's respectable as far as scoring defense. The stat I was a little underwhelmed with, total sacks. They averaged right around 2 sacks a game. They had 24 sacks on the season. Listen, that's like a 10-way tie. You know, Arkansas finished in the top 10 in this category. It would have been nice to look at this and see them hovering around the top 30. Again, they're Power 5. We're not talking about Group of 5. We're talking about a Power 5 program. 24 sacks on the year, but they ended up with 2 sacks per game. I think they're technically at like 83rd in the country. Listen, Georgia's in that same category. Georgia's way down the list on sacks. For everyone who's hooting and hollering about the Georgia defensive line coach, I mean, I don't know how much you put on him versus the actual scheming, but passing defense, you will like to hear this. They only gave up about 219, roughly just south of 220 yards a game through the air, 60th in the country. That's a relief. Run defense, again, another positive stat here. Like, he finished higher than Barry Odom did in nearly every category. Sacks, I think, was the only category, and TFLs, total TFLs. But these guys were 51st in the country versus the run, giving up 143 yards a game. Opponents rushed for a grand total of 1,700 yards at 3.8 yards per carry. Tackles for loss, they're way down. They're barely in the top 100. They averaged about 5 tackles for loss, or tackle for loss per game. So that's just some things to think about. He does recruit well. He's currently got a really highly rated edge rusher committed to him, I think out of North Carolina. You have to really appreciate, 1 year. He's had 1 year, and I'm not sure it's fair to be overly positive or overly negative based on a single season. He's got multiple years experience as a defensive line coach, recruits really well, can go out. He's shown he can get a 5-star at Maryland. Like, you talk about some similarities there. There's some similarities, right? Maryland, where are they in reference to their conference? What's the respect level? And then, where is it located, right? Kind of hard to recruit there. And this cat showed that he can get it done. I think it'd be the right hire for now. I'm not saying the guy would be super successful, but he could. And what matters too, something that Odom kind of struggled in terms of the high school ranks is going out and picking up, the four stars, the highly regarded players out of the high school ranks. Transfer portal, I think he killed it. But out of the high school ranks, Barry Odom, I think he kind of struggled a little bit when you just talk about overall talent. Yeah, Cam Ball was great. There's several. I'm gonna blank on a lot of names right now because I haven't really focused on the high school ranked names under Barry Odom. But Cam Ball was the big one. Oh my gosh. No, you can talk about Manny Powell. I thought that was a great get. Jordan Crook was a great get when you're talking about like the linebacker spot. Christopher Pupal, that's one of his guys. That's Barry Odom's guys. They did a pretty good job of going after guys that didn't have the stars next to their name. But I mean, Christopher Pupal is an All-American. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's an All-American. Cam Ball, yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good, man. I mean, I'm pretty excited about him. Redshirt freshman year, under his belt. Yeah, you like a little bit more production there, but Barry Odom, I mean, there were some nice things. I don't know who really at the end of the day is responsible for the transformation of Quincy McAdoo from wide receiver to corner. I don't know who really at the end of the day is like, yeah, I've got that, and I'm, and we're gonna turn him into this unbelievable shutdown corner as a true freshman when you consider the circumstances, right? And then you got to talk about Hudson Clark getting moved over to middle safety. As much as we want to hate on another player in the secondary, or as much as we want to criticize another player in the secondary, I'm not going to mention names, you got to give credit to Hudson Clark in the move of moving him to middle safety. He's all SEC. He's all SEC, guys. He was awful at corner, all right? I think he would agree. Yeah, I struggled there. They moved him over to middle safety, and it worked out. So, I mean, Odom did coach the safeties after all. So, there's credit. You got to give the credit where credit's due. But it's next man up. Little strange how quickly Odom was interviewing for the Tulsa job and then the UNLV job. I think there's more. I think there was something that happened behind the scenes. Either Hunter Yurchek pressured Sam Pittman to, I don't know, one way or another, get Barry Odom to see the writing on the wall. I don't know. It was a little strange. Going from an SEC defensive coordinator to interviewing for Tulsa, he didn't get that. Then boom, he went and interviewed for UNLV. It was all very quick. So Yeah. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll keep an eye on the transfer portal as we always do. Man, look at you guys. Look at the likes. You got the likes up a little bit. Maryland tried to be a basketball school. You remember when they said they were going to take Musselman as if Arkansas had no choice in the matter? I hope, just for that reason, Arkansas just walks up there and takes Williams. I do. Just for that reason alone. Oh, yeah, no, remember someone up there wrote an article about just we can walk down to Arkansas and take Musselman. Pfft, Arkansas, what of them? Ain't happening, fam. Ain't happening. Hopefully. And listen, not just because a giant middle finger to them, but also because I think he's a quality defensive coordinator. I do. Awful at corner, but played. Well, yeah, he played way better at safety. Brian, he was all conference. Hell yeah, he was awful at corner. I agree. When will Arkansas ever get a 5-star to commit? Well, I mean, they've had. You had Winston. Sosa Agim, I think, was a 5-star. Was he not? According to ESPN. McAdoo reminds me of Jalen Ramsey. All right, guys, I'm going to get to this thing. Sam Pittman's going to talk to the media. I'm going to go hop into that Zoom call. We've got more news coming next week. Some updates that's pretty important. Shout out to Oddsold. They're going to be an official sponsor. They'll have their logo and everything on January 1st, in the month of January. That'll start. Looking forward to that partnership. And shout out to Patreon supporters, whether you're a $4 donator or 8 and up. I appreciate you guys. All right, Woo Pig, and I will see you. No post game for the basketball game. I can't watch it. If I can't, I can listen to it, sure. But if I can't watch it, I don't know that I'm going to do a post game. Kevin McPherson will have that covered on Hogville. So don't expect any post game basketball here until later. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. All right, Woo Pig. I'll see you guys around.